to another episode of the Barley Hops and Yarn podcast. My name is Jennifer. I'm the face behind Barley Hops and Yarn. This is primarily a knitting podcast. I will occasionally show off some things I've dyed as well. No real structure to how often I upload, just because I'm kind of doing this for fun when I feel like it. I am a primarily stay-at-home mom, yarn dyer, knitter of things, and I don't really know what else to say about that. So let's go ahead and get into the podcast part. This episode is going to be your standard finished object whip, normal podcast format. So we'll go ahead and start with the finished object. We have this one you guys have not seen in one of the recap things yet. Or not recap, that's not the right word. Like project overview grading episodes I have been doing. Anyway, this is the Framework Bralette by Jessie Maed. Get a little bit closer so you can see the colors. There we go. That's pretty. All right, so this is the Framework Barley Jessie Maed Designs. I made it in an extra large, and I will be frogging this. The yarn is Sincere Fiber Co. It's her Dreamy Yak base, which is 20% silk, 20% yak, 60% mohair. The colorway is Thrill of the Hunt. This colorway is so gorgeous, so I'm definitely gonna be making something else with this colorway. I'm kind of thinking a spring sorrel might be nice, with a lot of negative ease, because one, stretch, very stretch, very stretch, and two, that's all I have quantity wise for this yarn. As I said, I'm going to be frogging it. I'm not happy with how it fits. I am going to do like a project specific episode on this, so I'll go into all the details on that. But the short version is the pattern itself, perfectly fine. Yarn itself, perfectly fine. Marrying the two together, probably not great because of the yak content. So I don't know if the issue with the fit is solely because of that, or if it's also because of measurements I took for myself. I don't know, but we'll troubleshoot it next time we make it, because I really do want this item. I love this item itself. And I think it'll look good once I get the fit right. It's just, I gotta get the fit right. And of course, no, I didn't swatch for it, and I'm not mad about frogging it. So hey, as long as you're not mad about frogging something, it's okay if you don't swatch. That's how that works, right? That's the only finished object I have for you, but I'll go into a hoe, because I do have a hoe. Please. All right, this is just standard vanilla sock. It is obviously a striping yarn, because who would weave in that many ends to change the yarns themselves for that striping? Not me, I can tell you that much. Definitely not me. So this is, I'm not following any sort of pattern. This is just a vanilla sock with the standard measurements I have, or not standard measurements, but like the standard way I usually make it. I am making this for my partner. Unfortunately, this is slightly too small, but he says it's still comfortable, so he'll wear it as long as both socks match. So I still need to make the other sock. So rewinding a little bit, at the beginning of this year, I decided that I really wanted to be more intentional about my whips, because ADHD, I'm really good at starting things and not finishing them. So at the end of last year, when I was going through my stash and my projects and everything, I didn't write any of it down, so I don't fully remember, but I feel like I had maybe like 6 or 7 whips, and I ended up frogging a few of them and like finishing a few of them. But I decided that this year, I really wanted to have like 3 whips at a time. I wanted to have one whip that was a good small on-the-go project, whether that be a sock or a hat. I wanted to have one bigger project going on, so like a garment of some sort, and then a third project that just kind of, we'd see whatever was striking my fancy at that point in time. But one simple one bigger one, and then one in between. I have 5 whips right now, so clearly that has gone very well. But anyway, this is whip/hoe number 1. Back to the actual whips now. So this is Biscotte yarns in their Biz Sock base, which is a fingering. And the colorway is Hudson's Memories. So get a little bit closer. There is, the lighting's not super showing it, but there's red, white, black, yellow, and then a dark green. The reason why I got this is, it's not within snatching distance. The reason why I got this is because when my partner and I went to Ireland in September to go to the Steelers football game, he's a really big Steelers fan, he got a hoodie that has like Steelers on it, but then also like the colors of the Ireland flag and all that. Anyway, this really reminded me of that particular item of clothing he has. So I decided to go ahead and get this. Yarn was on sale. I want to say I spent $16 on this. So I'm going to finish his socks, and then with whatever I have left over, I'm either gonna make matching like leg warmers for my cat because I have a problem, or I'll make him some matching socks with the kids so that they can all have a little matchy match moment. I kind of like the cat idea best though, because that just seems silly and whimsical, and I think I love it. But anyway, here's a hoe. Next up, we have a sweater for myself in my Slow Knitting Club bag. It will get done or not, which kind of fitting, especially with having ADHD. This yarn is, oh, that skein got untwisted. All better, I fixed it now. This yarn is, that's the side, Ilmani, I think that's how you pronounce it. Ilmani yarn, and it's the Amelie base. No idea if I'm pronouncing any of this correctly. And the colorway is ZL60, but it's gray. The tag says it's an Aran weight. Ravelry says it's a bulky weight. You take your pick. And the contents of it are 56 mulberry silk, 40% baby alpaca, and 4% merino. So this is very soft. It's blown. It's very soft. It's very squishy. I saw it, this yarn specifically, so like in November, I decided that 2026 was going to be a focus on stashing down, not because, I don't know if I've said this before or not in videos, but I think that your yarn stash is only too big when it gets to the point where it's stressing you out. My yarn stash isn't huge, but it has gotten to the point where it's stressing me out. So I really wanted 2026 to be a year of like working on stashing down. And I do have quite a few yarns in stash that like specifically have projects in mind for them. So just like knit on those because I've wanted to. I bought that yarn for a reason, to knit these specific projects. That's what I've been wanting to do. So I kind of decided that in November. And then in December, my partner and I went on a trip down to middle-ish Virginia, and Charlottesville is where we were, and we went to a very lovely yarn store there called Magpie Knits. Yes. And this yarn was there, and I fell in love with it, but I didn't want to buy it because I was like, no, I have other yarns. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and we went back for another trip literally like 2 weeks later with friends. And because I couldn't stop thinking about it, I was like, all right, as long as I can find a pattern, I'm getting the yarn. So clearly I found a pattern and I got the yarn, and I still love it. And that pattern is Fireflies by Lotta H. Löthgren. Apologies if I butchered that. Tried to Google it before, but do we trust AI's pronunciation of things? No, we don't. So, sweater. I have obviously the entire yoke done. It is a lace work with a cute little lace detail. Obviously it's a little difficult to see right now. When I block it out, it's going to be much better and much more easy to see. But it was a lot of fun to work on, and I love it, and it's soft and it's squishy. So now I'm on Body Lagoon, I'll call it, instead of Body Island. I don't know. There's a baby crying. I have 3-ish inches done of the body, and then I had a baby. So I haven't really picked it up that much just because it feels like if I can only get a few stitches done at a time and I'm on the body, I'm kind of like, are you actually getting progress done on it? Which is not a very productive way to look at it, because a couple of stitches are a couple of stitches. But that's just kind of, it's been a little bit in hibernation. I really want to finish it out. I'm kind of thinking like, it's depending on how much yarn I have. It'll either be a 3/4 length or a short sleeve. But I'm not in a rush to wear it because I think it's gonna be like cozy and soft and comfy, and we're entering summer. So I think what I'm gonna try to like goal out for myself with this specifically is to get through like 1 skein a month, because I think that's reasonable. Each of these skeins are 50 grams. It's a thicker weight, you know, that's doable. So I'll start that goal in June, because May is already almost over, and I know I have 34 grams left in the skein I'm currently working on. So there is that project. Next up we have, oh, I guess this is technically also a hoe because it's a 2-piece set. It is the Little Bear set by Ainhoa, got that one, Ainhoa Sanchez, and it's a top and a bottom set for babies, and I got the top done. So this is, if you watched my Maryland Sheep and Wool recap video, you saw some like footage of my son wearing this. This is in King Cole Country Tweed, colorway is oatmeal. Picked this up for like $3 at a yarn store in Florida. And then my first time ever embroidering, I embroidered that little face on. We got little ears and I love it and it's cute. And then there is a pant set to go with it as well. And this one is also in King Cole. It's Baby Comfort DK in the colorway Mustard. And I have a lot done. So, I mean, these look so long and I have concerns, but I'm just going with it. So we'll see what happens. Knitted by Whitney also made this, is where I found the pattern. Knitted by Whitney also made this pattern. And she, in one of her recent podcast episodes, talks about some of the issues she had with it. I had some of those same issues, except she, I think, subbed out a pant pattern for a different pant. But I'm going with this one. I am down to, I have one pant leg almost completely done. All I have left to do is the ripping and the bind off on this, and then obviously the other leg. And I need the needles that the other leg are on. So I will. This has been my on the road project just because it's smaller and easier to transport. Have it in my Peanuts Thanksgiving bag. And I'm really excited to finish it. I'm making it in, so my gauge is a little bit weird because the pattern itself calls for a sport weight and the gauge seemed strange to me. And I knew I wanted to use this yarn and I knew I wanted to use it in DK. So I didn't technically swatch, but I did take one of my hats that I have made with DK yarn, and I knew that I would probably use US 5 and US 7 size needles for this because I like the fabric that I get with the DK weight on those two needles sizes. And so I just measured my stitches per inch, like I did use that as a gauge swatch. And then I'm making this in the newborn size stitch count, but my gauge matches up to a size, I want to say 6 to 9, like size wise. So I'm having to look at the size measurements, like the length measurements for 6 to 9, which is fine. And the sweater fits him. So it seems like however I'm doing this, it's working. And I'm excited to have it finished so I can have him in like the actual full outfit. And obviously, again, we're entering summer. Does he need to be wearing a knit top and knit bottoms, specifically in like acrylic in the summer? No, because it's gonna be hot AF. So he does not need that, but I wanna finish it so that he can wear it for fall. Assuming it still fits him at that point. Those boys are growing fast. My next to last whip is a photographer hat by Lavanya Patricella. This is going to be a gift for my father-in-law. I have like 2/3 of the ribbing done. It's a free pattern. This is kind of like the base framework for all of my, not all, most of my knit hats, especially the ones that are DK. When I am making it for myself, I don't follow the pattern exactly because I tend to prefer a slouchier fit, and I get tired of ribbing by the time I'm getting to the point, like I'm done with ribbing by the time I get to where it calls for it in the pattern. So when I make it for myself, I tend to do less ribbing and more stockinette, but since this is going to be a gift, and I know that he is not gonna wear it slouchy style, I'm doing the prescribed amount of ribbing. This yarn is a beautiful gray with some, I guess technically you could call it speckling, but really it's probably just the way the dye broke. And I love it. It's so squishy. I'm like halfway sad that I'm giving it away as a gift because one, I think it would look fantastic on me, but two, it's just so squishy. But anyway, the yarn itself is from at Haynes House Yarn, which is local to me. Their community DK base, and the colorway is called Sadie. So highly recommend their yarns. I love them so much, and I like to the point where I don't let myself go into their booths most of the time at festivals now, because if I go in, I'm like 80% of the time purchasing something, and again, I'm trying to stash down. I'm not being hardcore about it. Like, I'm letting myself buy yarn if I have a need for it, or if it's like a special occasion for some reason. So like next week, we're actually going to go to Puerto Rico for a friend's wedding. There's a yarn store in Puerto Rico that I found. Of course, I'm going to go to the yarn store in Puerto Rico and come home with a skein of yarn. Like, that is a special occasion, or like any other traveling we're doing, you know, I'm going to check out yarn stores while I'm there, and I will probably buy yarn. But I'm not just like casually gonna, you know, when I go to festivals, I'm kind of trying to rein myself in a little bit and stuff like that. All right. Now that we've talked about my stash twice, next project is a test knit for Devon King. This is the Evangeline Blouse. And so I have pretty much been, since I started this test knit, I've pretty much been knitting monogamously on this because obviously I have a deadline. So I'd rather knit monogamously on this, with the exception of, like I said, I bring the little bear set when I'm out and about just because it's easier than bringing a Jennifer sized garment. So this is the back panel. That's a really cute face. It's not a cute face, but that's okay. This is the back panel. And I'm almost done with it. I have like 6-ish more rows to go. Yeah, like 6 or 7 more rows to go before I start the ribbing on the bottom, and then I can start picking up for the front panels. I am knitting this in 2 yarns held together. First yarn is, did I move them? Oh no, I kicked them up already. First yarn is a Maed Tosh and the Tosh Merino Light. The colorway is Frontier Stars. So it's like the base of it, depending on what light you look at, is either just very neutral. This side of the cake is prettier. Well, look at that. Is either, you know, pretty neutral, but if you look closely, in my opinion, of course this lighting isn't really showing it, it's kind of like a super like just brush of blue. And then obviously like speckles and all that fun stuff in there. And then I am holding it with Yarn Jam Surrey Halo. Hold on, I'm gonna grab the baby because he sounds a little grumpy. Un momento. I'm not pausing and coming back because he's like right there. Ugh. Please enjoy my sound effects. Would you like that? Maybe. All right, cool. Pacifier did it. Okay, I'm back. So this is Yarn Jam, and again, my lighting is not doing it justice, but this is a really light blue minty color. The colorway is called Seafoam, so picture a seafoam colored Yeti, but even paler than that, if that helps you at all. But yeah, this is her Surrey and silk base, and this is a late waist. So I'm holding those two together. I am making this in the 7th size, and I don't have any of the information in front of me to tell you what those measurements are or anything, because that's all on the couch and I'm not at the couch. But I am loving how this is working up. I am ready to be done with the back panel because I've been working on it since all month. Literally, I've been working on it all month because I got the yarn at Yarn Centric, which was on May 1st, and then cast on, I think that's Sunday, maybe I cast on, so May 3rd, and it is now May 28th, May 29th. I wrote the wrong date on my daughter's lunch when I sent her to school. That's okay. Yeah, so it's now May 29th, so I have been working on this back panel for almost an entire month. So my goal this weekend is to finish the back panel so that I can be done with it. I am a little bit worried about having enough of the Surrey. I really don't want to have to buy a 3rd skein because I know I'm barely going to have to break into it if I do, and then I'll have almost an entire skein of a lace weight silk Surrey blend left that I won't know what to do with. So like for my cast off, for my bind off, I'm just gonna hold the merino and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's what I've got for knitting. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I made potato bread that I'm very excited about. I've been, you know, everybody's into, not everybody, that's not fair to say, but a lot of people are into sourdough making, right? And I have a couple of friends that are, and they keep offering to give me a sourdough starter. And that sounds amazing. Like, I'd love to have fresh sourdough in the house whenever I want it, basically. But I'm already keeping a baby alive and a toddler alive, and I really don't think I have it in me to keep a sourdough starter alive as well. And in my opinion, potato bread toast is the superior toast if you're literally like just eating it with butter straight out of the toaster. And my partner and I were talking the other day, like, oh, I wonder how you make potato bread. Like, how does the potato incorporate it into potato bread? So we looked it up, and I went, that seems really easy to make. I'm gonna try to make it. So I did make potato bread the other day. It yielded 2 loaves, and I made it on Tuesday. It's now Friday, and we've almost completely killed one of the loaves. So success, super easy to make. I don't have to keep a starter alive, so I think I'm probably gonna start making that a little bit more regularly when we need bread, instead of just buying bread that we inevitably don't finish and then have to throw out because it got moldy. Apparently we're eating this one, and like I said, it was easy to make, super easy. So that's really the only other thing I've been doing. So Frederick Fiberfest, the proprietors of that's not the word I want, but that's the word I'm using. Okay, I am actually gonna hold the baby this time. Pause again. I know. Mommy's recording a podcast and not paying attention to you because you're supposed to be napping in your little sleep sack. Okay. Oop, sorry, I didn't mean to kick the camera. Would you like a pacifier? No? Okay. All right, so the organizers, that's the word I was looking for. The organizers behind the Frederick Fiberfest are doing a Fiberfest in either Stanton or Staunton. You choose how to pronounce it because I don't technically know. Virginia, and that'll be the 2nd weekend of June. I am vending at that, so I've been doing a lot of just like, not last minute dyeing, but just some dyeing to prepare for that. So yeah, that's mainly what I've been working on, is dyeing some yarn to get ready for the festival, making potato bread just because I felt like it, and then really just knitting primarily on the Evangeline Blouse. So yeah, don't have anything else to talk about. If you've made it this far, thanks for joining me for 25 minutes of your day. If you were so inclined, feel free to like and comment on this video, subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed it and you're not subscribed yet. If you already are subscribed, thank you. I appreciate it. And until the next video, have a great day.